Welcome to Rome. The year is 120 AD. Before you look around, pause. Take a slow breath. What do you smell? It is not the sterile scent of museum marble. It is warm stone baking under Mediterranean sun, olive oil heating in street kitchens, animal sweat, human sweat, wet leather, wood smoke, a faint metallic tang drifting from blacksmith forges nearby, and beneath it all, the smell of 1,000,000 people living shoulder to shoulder. Now open your eyes. You are standing on the Via Sacra, the sacred way, the most important street in the Roman world. Beneath your sandals lie massive basalt paving stones, dark and uneven. Look closely and you will see deep ruts carved into the rock, scars left by centuries of iron-rimmed chariot wheels grinding through the heart of the empire. This is not ruin. This is movement. Through AI reconstruction based on archaeological excavations, surviving Roman foundations, pigment analysis of ancient statues, structural modeling, and descriptions from writers like Suetonius, Tacitus, and Pliny the Younger, we are about to walk through Rome as it truly was. Not white, not silent, not frozen in time, but alive. Ahead of you, the Roman Forum opens like a canyon of marble, color, and noise. Yes, color. The temples are painted in deep reds, cobalt blues, bright yellows. Statues that modern visitors see as pale stone were once vibrant, their robes tinted purple and green, their lips painted red, their armor gilded in gold leaf that flashes in the sunlight. To your left rises the Temple of Saturn, where the state treasury is stored. Guards stand near its steps, bronze helmets catching the sun. To your right towers the Basilica Ulpia, vast and echoing. Inside, lawyers argue cases that will determine land disputes in Hispania and tax structures in Egypt. Clerks scratch notes onto wax tablets. The future of distant provinces is debated here in voices sharp and fast. The air vibrates with language. Latin dominates, but you hear Greek merchants bargaining loudly. Egyptian traders speaking softly near crates of papyrus. Syrians discussing shipments of glass. A Jewish scholar reading from a scroll. A man from Gaul trying awkwardly to pronounce Roman legal terms. Rome is not just a city. It is the gravitational center of an empire stretching from the Atlantic Ocean to the deserts of Mesopotamia. And here, at this moment, it feels eternal. Listen, a trumpet pierces the air. The crowd parts instinctively. A unit of Roman legionaries marches through the Forum in disciplined formation. Their shields flash red and gold. Sandals strike stone in perfect rhythm. Armor plates clink like controlled thunder. They are not marching to war. They are marching to remind. Empire is theater. Rome performs its power every day. Behind them walks a senator, his toga edged in imperial purple. He moves slowly, deliberately, aware that hundreds of eyes watch him. Politics here is public spectacle. Reputation is currency. A single speech delivered from the rostra, the speaker's platform ahead, can elevate a man to greatness or destroy him completely. Move forward with me. Stand near the rostra. This is where Julius Caesar once addressed the people, where Augustus reshaped the republic into empire, where decrees are read aloud to the masses. A public announcement begins. The voice carries across the square, news from the eastern frontier, construction updates on Hadrian's wall in Britannia, grain shipments arriving safely from Alexandria. Grain, that is what truly keeps this city alive. Nearly 200,000 Roman citizens rely on the annona, the state grain distribution. Without it, riots would erupt within days. The empire's power is built not only on legions, but on logistics. Look carefully at the crowd gathered around you. Some wear fine tunics of soft linen. Others wear patched wool. A baker's apprentice stands barefoot beside a wealthy merchant dripping in imported perfume. A freedman listens intently to political rumors. A slave waits silently behind his master, eyes lowered but observing everything. This is a layered society. Rigid, hierarchical, unforgiving, and yet alive with ambition. Because here in Rome, even a former slave can rise through trade, wealth, and connections. But survival is never guaranteed. The sun climbs higher. Heat radiates from marble steps and stone columns. The smell intensifies. Nearby, a vendor shouts about fresh bread pulled from his oven. Another sells garum, fermented fish sauce, its pungent odor sharp and overwhelming. Flies hover lazily in the warm air. This is not romantic. It is real. Now turn slowly. Beyond the grandeur of the Forum, you can see hills rising, the Palatine Hill to one side. There, the imperial palace spreads across terraces overlooking the city. Emperor Hadrian himself resides there when in Rome, surrounded by advisors, guards, and marble halls filled with statues of conquered gods. From that hill, the emperor can look down at the Forum. He can see the performance of empire below him. But from here, in the crowd, you feel something else. Energy, pressure, expectation. Rome in 120 AD is at its peak. The borders are stable. The treasury is strong. The architecture is unmatched. Aqueducts carry water from distant mountains into public fountains that never stop flowing. Roads stretch across continents. Ships cross the Mediterranean carrying grain, wine, marble, slaves, silk. Everything flows toward this place. And yet, beneath the surface of this triumph lies tension. Political rivalries simmer quietly. Succession questions linger. Plagues occasionally sweep through dense districts. And a city of 1 million souls balanced inside ancient walls is always one disaster away from chaos. Listen again. The crowd shifts. A minor dispute breaks out between two merchants over pricing. Voices rise. Insults fly. A watchman steps between them before fists can follow. Order here is constant negotiation. Because Rome is magnificent. But Rome is crowded. And beyond these shining temples lies another version of the city entirely. The marble ends. The noise grows sharper. The streets grow narrower. If you think Rome is all columns and triumphs, you are about to see something very different. Follow me. We are leaving the Forum and entering the real Rome. The marble fades behind you. The street narrows. The sound changes. Here, Rome breathes differently. You are no longer in the Forum of emperors and senators. You are in the districts where most Romans actually live. Look up. The buildings rise 5, sometimes 6 stories high. These are the insulae, apartment blocks that house the majority of the city's population. They lean over the streets like cliffs of brick and timber. Wooden balconies jut outward. Laundry hangs between windows like faded banners. Cracks run down plaster walls patched again and again after small collapses. This is dense living. Inside these buildings, entire families share a single cramped room. The wealthiest tenants occupy the lower floors where walls are sturdier and access to water is easier. The poor climb narrow wooden staircases to the upper stories, where rent is cheaper, but danger is constant. Fire is the silent predator of Rome. One overturned oil lamp, one unattended cooking flame, and an entire insula can become an inferno within minutes. The city maintains night watchmen, the vigiles, who patrol with buckets and hooks to tear down burning walls. But in these tight corridors of timber and brick, fire spreads like a living thing. You walk beneath a balcony and instinctively step aside as someone above empties a chamber pot into the gutter below. The street smells sharp and sour. There are no underground sewer systems here like the Grand Cloaca Maxima serving the older parts of the city. Waste runs in shallow channels carved along the road. Rain washes some of it away. The rest lingers. And yet life surges through this chaos. A baker slides flat loaves from a clay oven. A barber shaves a customer with a bronze razor in the doorway of his shop. Children chase each other barefoot, weaving between carts and donkeys. Graffiti scratches across the plaster walls. Marcus loves Livia. Vote for Gaius. Crude drawings. Political insults. Poetry. Rome speaks constantly. You pass a tavern, a thermopolium, where hot food is served from large clay jars embedded in a counter. Stew bubbles. Wine is diluted with water. Dice clatter against a wooden table as men gamble loudly. Not far away, a street preacher calls for moral reform, condemning the city's decadence. Because Rome is not only power, Rome is appetite. Now the street widens slightly. The air cools. Ahead of you stands something unexpected. A grand doorway. Marble threshold. Painted columns. You have reached a domus, the private house of a wealthy Roman family. Step inside. The noise of the street fades instantly. An open atrium greets you. Sunlight pours through a rectangular opening in the ceiling, illuminating a shallow, reflecting pool below. Water drips softly into it from last night's rain. The walls are not bare. They are painted deep red, black, and ochre. Scenes of myth, Hercules wrestling a lion, Venus rising from the sea, landscapes that stretch into illusionary depth. The floor beneath you is mosaic, thousands of tiny colored stones forming intricate patterns of dolphins and vines. Slaves move silently through corridors carrying trays of fruit and wine. This is another Rome, perfumed, cultured, educated. In a rear courtyard, a small garden grows. Herbs, roses, a marble statue of Apollo standing watch. The master of the house studies Greek philosophy. His children are taught rhetoric and mathematics. But even here, wealth depends on the same machinery as the insulae. Trade, water, spectacle. Leave the domus and follow the steady flow of citizens heading in one direction. The sound grows deeper, more unified. You smell steam. And suddenly, before you rise enormous vaulted halls. The Baths of Trajan. These are not simple bathhouses. They are monuments to Roman engineering. Step inside. The scale is overwhelming. Massive arched ceilings tower overhead. Light filters through high windows. Marble columns line wide halls where citizens of all classes gather. The baths are social engines. Here, senators speak casually with merchants. Soldiers relax beside craftsmen. Deals are made not in offices, but in warm pools. You move through the sequence. The apodyterium, the changing room. The tepidarium, warm and soothing. The caldarium, hot steam thick in the air. Men scrape oil and dirt from their skin with curved bronze strigils. Slaves massage shoulders. Conversations drift across the echoing chamber. Politics, gossip, rumors from distant provinces. And all of this is possible because of aqueducts. Far beyond the city walls, stone channels carry fresh mountain water across valleys and hills. Gravity alone feeds fountains, baths, and private homes. Engineering is Rome's invisible power, but spectacle is its visible one. And now you hear it. A roar, low at first, then rising. Thousands of voices merging into one thunderous sound. The Colosseum appears ahead. Its arches frame the sky. Massive, unavoidable. You move with the crowd toward its entrances. Vendors shout. Roasted chickpeas crackle over fires. Wine sloshes in clay cups. Children sit on their fathers' shoulders to see above the sea of bodies. Inside, the arena opens like a vast bowl of sand. 50,000 spectators fill the seats, arranged strictly by status. Senators closest. Citizens above. Women and the poor at the highest tiers. Below the wooden floor lies a maze of chambers. Animals pace in cages. Lions from Africa, bears from Germania. Gladiators wait in silence. A horn blasts. The crowd explodes. 2 gladiators enter the arena. Armor gleams. Sand shifts under their sandals. Steel clashes. This is not random violence. It is ritual. It is Rome demonstrating control over life and death. Over nature. Over enemies. Over fear. The emperor watches from his shaded seat. A subtle gesture of his hand can mean mercy or finality. The crowd chants. The sun beats down. Blood darkens the sand. And for a moment, Rome feels unstoppable. But look carefully. Beyond the arena walls, beyond the cheering, lies something quieter. The empire is vast. Its borders stretch thousands of miles. Legions stand along the Rhine and Danube. Rebellions flicker in distant provinces. Trade routes depend on fragile peace. And here in the capital, 1 million people depend on constant supply, food, water, order. Rome at its height looks invincible, but all great cities balance on unseen edges. As the games conclude, the crowd spills back into the streets. The sun begins to lower. Shadows stretch across stone roads. Cooking fires ignite across rooftops. The forum quiets. The insulae grow louder. The baths empty. The emperor retreats to the Palatine. From above, smoke rises gently from thousands of homes. Rome glows in orange light. Magnificent, chaotic, brilliant, brutal. If you had stood here in 120 AD, at the peak of Roman power, would you have believed this city could ever crumble? Would you have imagined its marble temples broken, its arenas silent, its streets reduced to ruin? Or would it have felt eternal? The Rome you have just walked through is not a myth. It was loud. It was crowded. It was human. And like all human things, it was fragile. The map is closing now. The noise fades. But history does not disappear. It waits. Which year of Rome should we unlock next? Drop a date in the comments. Subscribe to keep your passage into the past. I'm your guide, and the Empire is only beginning to reveal its secrets.